Thank you so much. And just with the time that we've got remaining, I'd like to take a brief moment to ask each of our panelists for their key takeaways or their final thoughts. Mimi, you were our first speaker. Perhaps you want to give us a few of your closing thoughts from today.
Sure. I think, for companies particularly, I think my part of the presentations was focused on Chinese companies to be really aware of the current enforcement landscape in the U.S. It's constantly evolving. It's a new thing for the FCPA to be used as a sword in basically targeting other countries. But it is something that we are keeping a close eye on, and companies should be aware of, particularly Chinese companies, that they are targeted under the China initiative. But to keep in mind that compliance programs around the world are sort of stepping up their game. Companies are stepping up the game in terms of bettering their compliance programs, and Chinese companies are under a particular microscope in terms of how they run their compliance programs. So it's very important to make sure that they rise to international standards.
Thank you so much. Gary, we then turn things over to you. Perhaps you've got a few final thoughts you'd like to share today.
I think these are Chinese companies and U.S. or foreign companies. They are facing a couple of swords rather than one sword. So I think they should be very careful to, prepare the, dramatically changed or significantly changed compliance enforcement situation. Previously, most of compliance practice focused on paperwork, but now the real wars are coming. We should be very practical and prepare for very sophisticated compliance actions taken by, number of governments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kent, you were our final speaker. Perhaps you want to close us out with a few of your final thoughts for today.
I think actually we're in a time of global business now where long experience, legacy is not necessarily an advantage because things are changing so quickly. And whatever your strategy and operations that led you to the success you have now, not necessarily what's going to lead you to success in the future. I would apply this to both Chinese companies and to foreign multinationals who are dealing in anything in the global business, but certainly with China. We're encouraging companies of all kinds to sit back and try as much as they can to pretend they've never been here, pretend they've never engaged with China, and the Chinese companies to pretend they've never engaged with the U.S. And to do what we call war gaming. Sit and try to look at their strategy and operations as if it was the other side's regulatory authorities that are looking at that. How could they criticize you? What could they find wrong in what you're doing? And put yourself in their shoes and think in a new way about how you are executing or how you're developing your strategy, but then how you're executing it.